On today's Locked On Mavs, Locked On Wizards crossover, Anthony Davis going to DC, pairing with Trey Young. Why did the Mavs do this? We'll tell you everything on today's Locked On Mavs, Locked On Wizards right now. Welcome. You're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks and the Washington Wizards, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs and Locked On Wizards your first listen, and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Joining me from Locked On Mavs, the one more thinking Isaac Harris. Joining us from Locked On Wizards, Ben Strober, Abdullah Ayubi. Guys, they did it. We all knew at the beginning of the season, it was all going to this. Anthony Davis going to the Wizards. We'll talk about the pairing with him and Trey Young. We'll talk about why the Mavs ended up doing this trade. But I want to just start here. Abdullah, your first reaction when Anthony Davis was traded to the Maverick or traded to the Wizards was like elation, excited, like completely flabbergasted. You were excited. Has your excitement, as you've processed this, has it waned any?
No, it's still at an all-time high, Nick. I think when I saw the notification, I saw that Anthony Davis got traded, but then I clicked the whole thing and it said Washington Wizards, and I called Ben, and then his phone was getting blown up. 80 to DC, I never thought 17-year-old me would lose his mind if you would say that in 10 years that AD, or no, less than 10 years, that AD and Trey Young would be a Washington Wizard. It's still insane.
10 years ago, that may have been a good move.
Yeah, potentially.
Is he a top 5 player immediately in franchise history for the Wizards?
In franchise, like, are we considering Bullets and Wizards the same franchise?
Yeah.
Right?
No. Let's leave the Bullets away. Just
Leave the Bullets away. I don't know. Are we taking AD? I guess. Well, AD's had a more illustrious career than Gilbert. Gilbert Arenas had like 3 good years. So yeah.
You counting the podcasting or just basketball?
Hey, those were some special years of basketball that I never watched. So don't
like Brad
trash
Beal.
my boy Gil.
Brad Beal, John Wall, Kwame Brown, AD.
Kwame Brown.
Hey,
what about
your GOAT played for them.
Johnny Davis? Johnny Davis is one of the best.
Johnny
ones.
Davis. Oh my God.
It only took 2 minutes for you guys to take shots at our Wizards.
Just like everybody has been today.
I want to say from your point, like I thought. I understand the move for Washington. Yeah, like, obviously I'm excited as a Mavs fan. But for Washington, like for you guys, even like the Wizards, like you're going for it. Like you finally, like, how do you guys feel that you've been kind of in this like purgatory land and now you've made this like swing for not just AD, but Trey Young too, to where like, yeah, the rest of the season's probably about your draft pick, but now going into next year, like, do you have like a renewed excitement going into like an off season, knowing it's like, hey, it's win now time?
I needed this really bad, honestly, just because yesterday you're sitting in Capital One Arena, the team's playing the Knicks, so obviously that means the stadium is overrun with New York Knicks fans. They're doing the F Trey Young chant in our own stadium. Trey Young's not even playing, and they're chanting that because of.
Was he there? Was he like on the bench?
Oh yeah. He's been on the bench. He's been active and energized, wearing Alex Ovechkin jerseys, paying homage to the hockey team around. Yeah, he's got a great PR team. I'll tell you that. He's done everything to make people in this city really like what he's done so far, and he hasn't even stepped on the basketball court.
Well,
Everybody in that city?
And the Wizards were his choice. Like, he wanted to go to the Wizards. That was the team he specifically picked out.
Hey, on Instagram, he said preferred destination. So,
yeah.
But
I'm
no,
sure
like
it was.
this is definitely an energy that was needed, I think, for this fan base, because I said it last night. These are going to be a really long final 2 months of the season. We put out a G League lineup against Sacramento the other night. That game stunk as a whole firsthand. Like, it was a bad game the entirety. And I'm texting you, Nick. I'm like, there's just no way the Wizards can't lose this game. They're trying so hard to lose, and Sacramento will not lose this game. They refuse to win it. And then the Wizards go all out. Brian Keefe, masterclass. You put out a lineup of 5 players who I don't think any of them at this point in their career can create their own shot and score. And 3 of them had played in the G League game the day before for the final 16 minutes of the game. And they still won. And then you get blown out at home by the Knicks. That's fine. Like, you needed to lose the game. It was bad defense. I'm like, guys, this is going to be a long final 2 months of the season as we get to this race to the bottom here to try to get a lottery pick going forward. But this is an energy that the fan base needed, because 3 years of intentionally losing, it does a lot to a fan base that's already eroded from being mid for so many years.
Where do you guys think the Wizards are in the rebuild timeline though? Because now it's like Trey Young and Anthony Davis. Doesn't feel like the Wizards got their number one young guy. Like where are they in the timeline of this rebuild in your opinion?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. Michael Winger, in a recent press conference, talked about how we're nearing the end of the deconstruction phase, and it's only up from here. I think with the top 8 protection pick, the loaded talent with DeBonza, Peterson, Boozer, Wilson, next year is going to be expectations. And after this AD trade, it's a bare minimum that you have to make the plan. And especially if Giannis goes out west potentially, the East just gets more wide open. So it's an exciting time to be a Wizards fan. And I know the knock on AD, Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, that's the nickname that I have to get used to in our comment section from now on. It's like, for me, this team, guys, has not won 50 games in 50 years, right, Ben?
1979.
1970. Like, we had, like, the bar is so low. It's really low. And it's just excitement. It's going to be really fun. And on top,
500 record would get them actually close to, like, the best they've been in 50 years. Like, being 500 is considered, like, elite for Washington Wizards basketball. But AB touched it perfectly. Winger said in that press conference as well, we don't want to be mediocre. It's easy to be mediocre. We aspire to be bigger and better than that. So I'm treading a little bit lightly in terms of like how good I think they can be next year. Health would be very important. But let's say you land the 3rd pick and you take Boozer. If you have AD for at least the next year or so on this team, you have him play behind him maybe at times. And if AD is hurt, then obviously Boozer's going to get his opportunity. And Anthony Davis probably will get hurt. Like it's not likely that he plays. It's not likely he plays over 50 games. If you can get him to play 50, I think you're in an ideal scenario. But it's kind of wishful thinking, isn't it? You could tell us more about that though.
We were hoping for 60 at the beginning of the season, so
I'll tell you this stat. You might not know this, but he never played more than 5 games in a row for Dallas. Hopefully he gets the 6 for you guys. One of the things when you're talking about Winger and, kind of wanting to move out of that deconstruction phase, one of the things for me is like important is like the directions that teams go. And I feel like sometimes teams just are directionless. And that's where I was scared that Dallas was going to be going in this land of like, hey, you're not really going like south to rebuild and get flexibility and everything, or you're not going like, you're not healthy enough to be up here. It feels like you guys are shifting to a new direction. One of the things with AD that was about this whole situation was this extension. So for him and Trey Young, are y'all like comfortable with paying these guys like an extension coming up? I mean, I'm not going to roast you or anything. Like if you say you are, I just think this is a natural thing. Like Rich Paul is like has been very open that they want an extension for Anthony Davis. Are y'all cool with that and Trey Young?
I've been like on the fence about the Trey Young thing because initially when the trade was made, you have the $49 million player option. You go, okay, you're committing to 1 year of that, pretty low risk. But there could be benefits to extending Trey Young in the situation. I don't know what type of money he's going to command. Are you paying him $50 million? But what is AB or AD? I keep making this mistake right now with AB. But what is Anthony Davis going to make? $58 million next year? Is that right? I don't even have the numbers up in front of me.
Around that, yeah.
So if you're looking at extending him, then where? Like I don't know if I'm in favor of an extension for Anthony Davis right now because in terms of like what you're trying to build, and you still don't know who you're drafting at this point. Maybe this summer if they land Darren Peterson in this draft, which they obviously won't because the Wizards will never win the lottery ever.
Hey,
don't speak that,
we
Ben.
said that about the Mavs. The Mavs had never moved up in the lottery ever, and last year they did. Maybe that was by design.
Oh, so maybe because we traded away Marvin Bagley, that means we'll be rewarded with the first pick.
There you go.
You took on from both Atlanta and the Mavericks. You took on contracts and players that the other teams didn't want. So maybe the NBA is gonna, they're like, all right, you guys did us a solid.
They're doing something behind the scenes for us. But no, I'm probably out on the extension right now. But I think it's gonna depend for me what happens with the draft.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with what Ben just said. More leaning towards an extension for Trey because a pure point guard on this roster could do wonders for Keyshawn and Alex Starr. AD, I don't know. Yeah, again, the health issues, it's going to be a concern for as much as we talk about him. And I think coming up, Darren Peterson, very, very talented. I think he has shades of Anthony Edwards. The way he took over that game against BYU was just amazing. But again, this is excitement because we haven't felt it in so long. We haven't made the playoffs since 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So next season, expectations are going to be a lot different.
That's the thing for the Wizards. The expectations are now there. Let's talk about the AD and trade pairing. We'll also talk about the Mavs getting a fresh start. Why did the Mavs do this? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs, Locked On Wizards crossover brought to you by Indeed. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take a job offer. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help you move your business forward. That's what the Wizards want to do. They want to move it forward. They want to get the right people in line. So they get Trey Young, they get Anthony Davis. They were matched with the right candidates for them. Instead of hoping the right person just stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, skills, certifications, and location. And here's a stat. In the last minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates so that they check all your boxes. You don't have to weed through the ones where you're like, hey, actually, you don't qualify for this. This was all a waste of time. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's what Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Also brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. That's what the Mavericks decided to do with Anthony Davis. They handed him off to the Wizards, and they're like, all right, let's go on with our day with the clean cap space in front of us and all this. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms and things and all these different bubbles and boxes, different forms, you can send it off to a TurboTax expert in person or connect online. Some people are like, I just want to do it online. Don't make me go into a place. And some people are like, I want to go into a place, see the person. You can do that, either one of those. Huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it for a limited time. You can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, you can file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get your life back. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. TurboTax.com/local.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, Locked On Wizards. Thanks for being part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners over at Locked On Mavs. You guys call your listeners everything on Locked On Wizards?
I think it's DC family, right, Ben?
Sickos.
DC family. You do say that every show. Yeah,
Sickos, though.
Shout out to the Raccoon Squad. Shout out to DC family. Join it. Become an everydayer. Subscribe to the everydayers. We got a code for Locked On Mavs right now. The code is moving on. I think your code is BROW. Over on there's a link in the description to get ad-free episodes of this show, access to our Discord and all that. It's lockedonmavericks.supercast.com or lockedonwizards.supercast.com. Use the code BROW for Wizards. Moving on for Mavs to get a free month. All right, guys, we're talking about the Anthony Davis trade to the Wizards, and I want to just talk about this AD Trey pairing real quick because it's kind of an interesting combination. One of the things that Anthony Davis struggled with in the 29 games he did play with the Mavericks was that they didn't really have good point guard play. And you didn't have somebody setting him up. You didn't have somebody that could run a pick and roll. Anthony Davis is what I would call a finishing star. He's somebody that is not, you give him the ball and you go figure it out. You're talking about Anthony Edwards earlier. It's like, all right, go get us a bucket. Go do that. Anthony Davis is, you set him up and off of a pick and roll, he can do everything, like literally everything. Take a little jumper, if he gets within 15 feet of the basket, he's going to score no matter what, but you got to get him to that spot and set him up in that spot. I don't think Jason Kidd's offensive system set him up well enough, and the Mavs didn't have the players to set him up. And to have Trey Young, Abdullah, you were mentioning it earlier, like Trey Young is going to, like I thought as a point guard, just working with all the other young guys, he's going to do wonders for them. I think he's going to be really good for Anthony Davis too. I kind of like this pairing if they're going to, be healthy at the same time.
Yeah, I think a front court with Alex Sarr and Anthony Davis offensively and defensively is very dangerous. And this was something that Wizards fans wanted. There's speculation out there that Alex Sarr is not better at the 5 than the 4, and you go back and forth on it. And there are nights where he'll get bully ball call Anthony Towns, but then there are other nights where he'll be the best player on the court. And with AD, the pick and rolls, Trey Young, like you mentioned, I think it was 2 seasons ago or a season ago where he led in assists per game, and he's a playmaker. And defensively, I know a lot of people give him a knock because he's small, but at the end of the day,
he's not good at that.
Yeah, he's not good at that. But at the end of the day, if you have Keyshawn, Bilal, Alex Sarr to protect the rim, who at one point was leading blocks per game not too long ago, I don't really care about defense, guys. I just want to see us score 135 and give up 130.
I mean, your point though about Trey Young is if you can have those wing defenders and have defensive backline of AD and SAR, then I mean, what better of a? I mean, yeah, to help negate the defensive limitations, we'll say, of Trey Young.
You're exactly right. And yesterday, the episode we did after we were just dismantled by New York, I said, look, like this team's going to take a step forward next year with Trey Young on the floor. Like they're going to have a higher floor because they'll be much better offensively. But as it stands right now, second worst in defensive rating in the NBA, and even over the last 13 or so games, still bottom 5 in the NBA in defensive rating and net rating. I'm like, I don't think I can expect this team to be that much better defensively next season, even if you do see some of these guys make substantial individual improvements, because the Wizards actually have decent individual defense. They are second in the NBA in blocks per game with 6 right now. Alex Sarr was obviously leading the league in blocks for a lot of the season when Victor Wembanyama wasn't qualifying for it. But additionally, the Wizards were first in the NBA as of the other day in points per possession on isolations, like under 1. So it's interesting that you can make the argument like you have a guy like Bilal Coulibaly who also like seems like he has a hard time playing 5 games in a row, just so you know, Isaac. But also Keyshawn George, a guy that's looked like a pretty serviceable wing defender as well. You add that to the mix, and now that you have AD that kind of bolsters your front court a little bit, that will mask the deficiencies that Washington has of just giving up paint touches overall, because Sarr's been good defending the rim, but he's your last line of defense. He is your anchor defensively. I don't think you want to ask for him to have to do everything because they love his switch ability. They love the ability he has to actually get out there on the perimeter and guard point guards and use that like length to his ability to stop guys driving to the basket. But they're asking so much of the guy. If you look at, I literally saw a chart where it was like opponent field goal percentage at the rim versus shots defended. Alex Sarr, they have like his face on it, and like look what I'm about to do. His face, it was off the screen. It was off the screen because he had faced so many shots at the rim. This is going to help negate that a little bit.
All right, what are the questions you guys have about the Mavs decision?
One more thing, real quick. I want to brag on AD for a second for Wizards fans. Anthony Davis was put in just an impossible situation coming to Dallas. And, you know, coming in that Luka trade, he handled literally everything the right way. Like, I mean, from day one, it was, you know, he didn't ask to get traded from the Lakers. He didn't really want to get traded from the Lakers. But from day one, he was like, man, I want to bring life back to the city. Yeah. You know, he had the Houston half, we always call it, where he played in that first half against the Rockets, and before he got hurt in his first game in Dallas, and he's like, I'm here. Had some highlight plays, and the fan base was excited there for a few quarters, but ever since then, you know, he's said the right things. He has played through injuries. There's been times, even though, he played in 29 games, he probably could have played in less because, I mean, he was fighting through injuries. It was the first time, I think, in his career that it was just a sucky situation to where the fan base probably overall didn't like really want him there. And now I think so I can't brag on the person and the professional of AD enough, but now what a cool situation. I'm happy for him because now it's kind of like it's flipping it back 180 of like going to the situation to where a lot of you guys and fans in Washington should be excited to see AD in a Wizards uniform. He's going to get cheered and, you know, standing ovation and stuff when he makes his debut in Washington. And like, it was such an impossible situation. He handled it well. And now I think he's going to a fresh start to where I think the fan base, there's no baggage from Luka that he can just be fully embraced there. So I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for him too.
That's actually a really interesting point. Like to think about like the weight that was carried on his shoulder being part of that trade that just like caused interruption in Dallas. And it's interesting because like there could be an eruption in DC, but for a different reason, because there's actual like real excitement. And even though he is 32 and he has a hard time staying on the floor, like this is a name with pedigree, and it's one of the bigger moves that this franchise has made, if we're being honest. And that's kind of a low bar, as AB said, but that's just the reality of the situation.
I understand it for Mavs fans because, again, you traded away Luka Doncic, which was over a year now. And for Wizards fans, I think it's just amazing to see that the rebuilding phase is hopefully over. You're going into year 4 of a rebuild, and that expectations, year 3, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, you're hoping that you still land that top 3 pick, knowing our lottery luck, we may fall out of the top 5 again. But it's just next season, and with the financial flexibility that they had, and then after acquiring Trey Young and Anthony Davis, I gotta tip my hat off to Will Dawkins and his crew, because what he was dealt with, what Tommy Shepard, Ernie Grunfeld did to the organization, the bar was set so low, and he was given not a good hand of cards. But if you look back and see how every move that he had done was a move with purpose.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want a direction. You want to have all right, we're all going in this way. Let's all figure it out together, and they did. Coming up, why did the Mavs do this? And what are these teams getting in Jaden Hardy, Malachi Branham, AJ Johnson? We'll talk about all that stuff and more coming up. Locked on Mavs, Locked on Wizards continues next. Today's episode of Locked on Mavs, Locked on Wizards brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook, all kinds of things you can use to get in on the action. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, one final chance to get in on the action before NFL season comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is helping you get there so you can have all kinds of fun with Super Bowl prop bets and all kinds of things. They've got odds on like players scoring a certain amount of touchdowns. They've got all kinds of things. Points scored each quarter, minus 500. That one's an interesting one. You're just like hoping that anybody scores at any point. Patriots special teams to score a touchdown, plus 2,000. That one's interesting. Both Sam Darnold and Drake May to complete 25 passes each, plus 2,000. All kinds of stuff like that you can do on FanDuel, and you can do a same game parlay or whatever. If you're a new customer, you can use this deal. Bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. It's the last call for FanDuel, for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac. All right, Ben. All right, AB. Are we going to keep calling you AB even though you have an AD now on the Wizards? It feels like it's just intentionally confusing.
Yeah,
it's got to stay his name.
It's probably going to take a while to get used to that.
AB, AD, AD, AB. What kind of questions do you guys have about the Mavs' reasons for doing this? Because I'm curious, like when a trade happens, you're always like, why would that other team do that? That's my first question, is like, why are the Wizards doing that? What are your thoughts on, give me your questions for the Mavs.
Okay, yeah, I'll start it off. So obviously everything taking in the expirings with Bagley and Middleton makes perfect sense for you guys. You're clearing up like $70 million in cap space, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so that move makes
in tax money, kind of, not really.
So that gets you out of the second apron, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
below the
First
tax.
one. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's huge. With players like AJ Johnson in this situation, he didn't get a lot of run here in DC. Do you guys have any kind of expectation for, like, is there going to be a situation here for you guys are kind of in this mode where you're bottoming out a little bit for the end of the season here? Do you think they're going to give him some runway here to see what he's got in the tank? Like, how do you see it playing out with a guy like AJ Johnson? Because he didn't really get a lot of run here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect time for him to give a guy like AJ Johnson run.
Can he
right?
dribble?
Can he dribble? I know he can jump.
Oh, no.
I know he can jump. But no, I mean, this was honestly something I wanted to throw back to you guys about AJ Johnson because I see a guy like him and I know he's super young and not expecting a ton from him. It's not like, hey, I mean, this is a lot about clearing up the salary cap the most and, getting some draft picks in there. Dallas had in control of 3 draft picks over the next handful of years. That's including first and seconds. Now that moved up to 8 for them, I think, somewhere through there. And but for AJ Johnson, what on do the positive angle here for Mavs fans listening to this? What are the Mavs getting in an AJ Johnson? I know he didn't play a lot in Washington though.
Lots of highlights. He's a great highlights guy because if you get him in transition, like a look where he's got a little bit of space, that dude can jump out of the gym probably with anybody on the floor at one time. He's got a good, very explosive first step to his game. That's like the biggest downside to him, though, is just like you got to see him get a little bit better with the basketball in his hands. But I think given that one of his better skills is that first step and athleticism, there is something there in the guy. Like he's not a jag. He's not a YMC gym coach. Like this guy definitely can be a serviceable player in this league, but maybe the lack of repetition is kind of what held him back from developing some of these other skills I felt like were necessary for him to become a rotational piece here in DC.
Can you, real quick, can you explain what a jag is?
Yeah, you lost me on that one too.
Just a guy.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
old man over here. I'm just
Yeah. I was gonna ask you guys, do you think Mavs fans were just more happy on the fact that they're not dealing with AD anymore rather than how much compensation they got back?
I think they're split. I think there's so many factions of Mavs fans now, because you have like the Mavs fans that aren't Mavs fans anymore because they're mad about the Luka trade, but they'll still comment on all the Mavs stuff, so that they have their own slant. Then you have the ones that were like, there are some we're happy about the Mavs trade. It's a very small section, but we're happy about the Luka trade and Anthony Davis, and we're convinced that like Anthony Davis, Kyrie, and whoever else, like that was going to get you to an NBA Finals. And there's still people that are like, well, when healthy, that was never ever going to happen, I don't think. But there's still a faction that think that. I think that there is going to be the majority of Mavs fans will look at this and be like, ugh, that's all we got for Luka, and they're going to aggregate the two trades, and it's now our job to try and explain why the Mavs did that. And so, but I think there's going to be a lot that are going to be just disappointed that you look at, like, oh, they got a couple first round picks, but people are telling me they're not real first round picks. Stuff like that, I feel like, is where people were going to end up.
Hey, just move another piece that Washington has that you guys didn't end up getting, and I was worried about it when I saw the initial trade. Justin Champagnie. I think if you guys got Justin Champagnie as part of this deal, it would have been an awful deal for the Wizards. I love what he's brought to the table because he's their glue guy. As it stands, like, you have him on a super cheap, team-friendly contract, and he's exactly what the Wizards front office, like, they'll use all the sayings like, we want to be defensive-minded, we want gritty guys that love basketball. Like, that's Justin Champagnie. He literally embodies what the Wizards say they want to be. So if he were included in that deal, I would have been disappointed. I'm glad they held on to him. I wonder if Dallas had interest on that side. I want to see if you guys had any file on that.
Ben, I don't care about him. We didn't get him. So,
well, the thing about this whole thing is, I think the Mavs looked at the Wizards' crop of young guys and was like, all right, which ones can we get? Can we get Cam Whitmore? No. Can we get Will Riley? No. Can we get Bob Carrington? Absolutely not. Can we get Bilal? Like, laughs, hangs up the phone. And then they're like, all right, well, then they got down to the bottom of the list. We're like, hey, here's two guys that are young. It's like, I don't even know if they're interesting.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, for an AD trade, we've been talking about these like three things for Dallas that they would go after. And it's, the salary cap space, trying to clear up some money. It is any type of draft pick, and it's a young flyer. And we always said, like, hey, if you can get all three of those in an AD trade, it's probably a win for Dallas. If you can get two out of the three, obviously the cap space was the bigger priority. They got that. I know the picks aren't awesome at all, but there are at least some picks that allow some flexibility. I mean, Dallas we traded so many of our first when Luka was here, so many of our seconds when Luka was here. So just get some picks in there that can be used in some deals and stuff was good for Dallas. And then, once again, I'm not expecting a lot from AJ Johnson or Branham in this deal, but it's at least some type of flyer. Are y'all expecting anything from Jaden Hardy or D'Lo?
I know he's 23, so
yeah, that was my next question.
That is his age.
Consider me intrigued, just because he's 23, but I need to know more. So sell me on him.
Nick?
Okay, Jaden Hardy is the most incredible scorer, shot maker, shooter. If your team is up or down by 20 points in the fourth quarter, he becomes an all-star when that happens. There's something about garbage time that just he turns it on. But he has actually done really well in a couple different stints in his career. His rookie year, he was really good in the G League, and then they brought him up at the end of the season. That was 2023 when the Mavs missed the entire postseason, missed the play-in and all that with Luka, and when they brought Kyrie over finally. And so he played well next to those two guys when the ship was going down. Like, the Mavs were losing and kept losing, and Jason Kidd was looking around like, who can I trust to take a shot? And he put Jaden Hardy in there. Jaden Hardy's like, I will take the shot no matter what. Like, you don't have to worry about my confidence in taking shots. So he'll shoot. Like, he has been a good jump shooter in his career. Has been a good 3-point shooter. He struggles with decision making, and I think that's the thing that's really taken him from, he's an interesting player, one of the G League Ignite guys that people were really excited about, to, man, I'm not sure where his place is in the NBA. The Mavs in, 2024 or 2025? I think it was 2024 in the summer, tried to have him be the point guard on the summer league team, and it went terribly. Like, he could not get the team together and all that. And the Mavs were really hoping that that's something that he could do, is develop some ball handling skills, and that just didn't work for him. And so you kind of left this player where, like, all right, well, you're too small to be like a shooting wing. Don't give us any defense. can't handle the ball enough to be like a point guard. So they're just trying to figure out like, all right, what's your role in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, for Hardy, he was a highly ranked high school guy coming out of high school, and he goes the Ignite route. He's Nico's first draft pick there when Nico first came in, and they gave him the extension too. I think just based off a little bit of hope, based off of
definitely
Nico probably
based on hope.
Nico not wanting to give up on his draft pick. But no, I mean, he had spurts. He can get downhill. He can create. There were times that Dallas was so desperate for any type of creation or any type of guy who could touch the paint that Jaden Hardy would come in. It's like, all right, well, gosh, I mean, he's like one of the only guys off the bench who can do this. But like Nick said, they wanted him to be a point guard at one point, just didn't work out. But he's kind of stuck in that mold of you see a lot of players right now that kind of got paid, but they don't have a ton of market as the smaller scoring like two guards that can't really play point, but they're not big enough for the wing. And that's kind of where Hardy's at. So I think for Hardy is, can he ever get good enough to develop into like a Jordan Clarkson type of guy, to where he's like a heat check type of guy who can score the ball and come off the bench and give you some points that way. So he's not good defensively. I wouldn't run him at point guard, but scoring is his thing.
I had one question. I don't know if we're going to end off with this, but how does the AD trade affect Kyrie Irving? I wanted to see a healthy Kyrie, Cooper Flag, and AD, but unfortunately that obviously wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, you and the owner are the owner kept saying over and over again, I want to see these guys play. Yeah, I think Kyrie like refound himself in Dallas, like, and revitalized his image and a lot of things. He's become the leader of this team and kind of like the main vet. Like he's the one, the leader for a lot of these guys. They all look up to him. And so I think the connection between the Mavericks and Kyrie is bigger than the player. Kyrie stayed after the Luka trade, which I was worried about. Maybe that was because of AD, but I think that connection is a little bit bigger than playing with AD. And so I think the Mavs will keep him. I think they'll run into next season. I don't know that he'll play the rest of this season. Like maybe they'll slow roll it for him to come back, but I don't know if a 33-year-old not playing for like 20 straight months is great either. And so maybe they'll play him some games at the end of this season. But AD and Kyrie wanted to play together. That's something that they've talked about ever since like Team USA when they played together on those teams. And so that it kind of stinks for them. But I mean, this whole thing just kind of stinks.
It's all what Kyrie wants. If Kyrie is willing to stay, then I don't mess with that. Like Kyrie is the leader of the team. He was the leader of the team even before they traded Luka, and over Luka, he was the leader of the team. So like you keep him as long as he wants to be here. But if he gives a signal that like, hey, I kind of want to be on a contender, then I would work with him for sure. Just real quick to end it, we won't tell our boss that we're going late in an episode here. Where do
we
you
can
see,
go longer, guys? We're fine.
just right now, assuming that you're going into next season, Anthony Davis is healthy, Trey Young is there, you got your young guys. Do a little way too early power ranking of the East. Where do you see Washington right now?
Ooh. This is difficult. Like, so one, we got to factor in.
It's a little unfair, I know, but
Indiana gets Tyrese Halliburton back. They probably will pick in the top of this draft as well. So they'll probably be back around the top of the Eastern Conference. Like, they'll just be running it back. They're just taking the year off, essentially, which was probably pretty smart. For them, Boston gets Tatum back, and they're already good without him anyway. They'll be up at the top. Detroit's still going to be very good. I think, like, ceiling for Washington, if they were somehow out of the play-in, like if they were the 6th seed, I think that would be incredible. I think it's a little bit wishful thinking, considering I don't think AD plays enough games for it, and I think they're still too young to take that step that they need. But I think they're a top 8 seed.
Yeah, and I think New York as well. If Giannis goes to Miami, which I think is a possibility, then Miami's going to be there. So for me, I think a win for next season is making the play-in. But if you can somehow land the 6th seed, that's a home run for me.
Sweet. Yeah, I know. I was just looking at the East after the trade, and I was like, man, I wonder where they could, like, you look at the Atlantas, if Philly doesn't, assuming Embiid doesn't have another year like he's having like right now, are these two teams that y'all could try to hop up over? to fight for one of those 6-7 spots. And I don't know.
The Hornets may never lose again.
They're going to be top 5 next year, I think, in the East.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah,
They
they're
got
good,
health
man.
problems too, though.
They're kind of like the Wizards should aspire to be like what they've done. Like they've been building up for a long time with that core of players, and like if you're a Wizards fan, you just have to realize that a lot of NBA players take 3 to 4 years to become serviceable, really good NBA players, and Charlotte is finally clicking because of that.
Last thing, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter. I saw a guy put up a graphic of the top 20 picks of 2018. Miles Bridges is the only guy
one.
that has, and that is just insane.
That hasn't been traded.
That is-
Yeah, Luka got traded. Trae got traded. Man, it's insane.
It's
to see
insane.
all of them.
Are
Jaren
y'all
Jackson.
doing okay after losing Kispert?
We
Forgot
lost
how to
his
shoot.
we lost his aura. We lost his scratch golfing ability.
His hair.
His
but-
fashion?
Yeah, I mean,
Wait.
when he was injured, he was like always fitted up on this. I was like, damn, like that guy's fitted up. But who? Oh, it's just Corey Kispert.
Wait, we got to get you guys to weigh in on the mascot situation with Jackson Hayes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Were either of you there?
No, I didn't even see it.
Nobody saw it. G Wiz was our only All Star this year. How dare Jackson Hayes?
Wait,
How
who cracks
dare
G-
Dude, and
Jackson?
he didn't push him. He physically assaulted him. man.
Who's G
Okay,
Wiz?
so the story is Jackson Hayes, the center on the Lakers, like hip checked and shoulder checked, went dipped down and shoulder checked the G Wiz, which is the mascot for the Wizards.
G Wiz is his name.
And he ran.
Look
he
him up,
ran-
Isaac.
And he ran and
him up.
he pushed him into somebody from like the dance team that was running onto the floor at the time. And now Jackson Hayes just got suspended for a game, didn't he?
Man, that's the
Wait,
perfect
how
justice.
How is G Wiz an All Star?
I don't know. I just saw a graphic that said all. I don't even know if it's real. I could,
He's
I
an
could be
all-star
making it
in all Wizards
Self-proclaimed
fans'
All-Star
eyes.
G Wiz.
well, that maybe the Wizards just like made up that he was an all-star. I don't even know. But somebody sent it to me. Said this is the perfect thing to describe the Washington Wizards season.
This is awesome. He looks so
I'm gonna
funny.
make up that we're all 4 of us are All Stars. We're locked on All Stars.
Let's go. We
Not a
made the
team, but
All-Star
we
game.
We just made.
Why on NBA.com they have the G Wiz webpage here? They have all of his shoes that he has.
Oh,
has
he's got
different shoes?
swag.
He's got a
man.
shoe game, man.
Yeah, he does. Let's
We
go.
got look up the Commanders mascot Major Tuddy. Look up his hair. He has the strangest haircut I've ever why. First of all, why does the mascot that's like a pig have a haircut? But he's got like a fade on a
G Wiz.
mascot.
All right, he's been around since '97.
Yeah, no, he's the man.
Wait, is
Locked on
G Wiz
mascot.
older than both of you guys?
Yes,
Yes.
by 6 years.
Oh my God,
Yep.
let's go.
I know when I hired him, I was like, dang. Isaac, we're now on the next stage.
Look at the correlation.
way.
Like you guys older, like baby face, facial hair, hat. It's insane. We're the younger version of you guys.
Hey, when we started,
Dude, look at our eyebrows too.
It's the
hey,
unibrow.
we got the red going. We got the red going.
Oh my god.
I got the locked on the green
Hey,
locked on
there we
merch for the
go.
background.
Oh,
Look
let's
at that.
go.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so funny. So you guys are hyped about this trade. You're like excited to see what the team looks like next year. And even if AD misses games, like you still at least have the young guys and Trae.
Yeah, this should be fun. Like legitimately, the team will try to win basketball games, which is very different than the last 3 years. I know everyone thinks the Wizards have been rebuilding for 7 years because they were that bad before that. Like no, like they were trying to win back then, guys. They just weren't very good at it. Now they'll actually try to win. So we'll see if they succeed in doing it.
And bigger picture, Wizards playing good basketball. Hopefully, the NFL draft is going to be in DC in 2027, and the new stadium. The DMV is up right now.
Let's go. Well, maybe not all the DMV, but Trey Johnson, Trey Young, backcourt. Get the shots up. Let's go. I do want to say I do
You
like
love Trey Johnson.
I did like Trey Johnson, but I did like Keyshawn George coming out of Miami, and I liked him in the draft. And I mean, obviously, y'all know more than I do about how well he's playing for you guys, but he lit us up too earlier in the season when
Game
the
two.
Wizards. Yeah, when the
I was like,
Wizards.
oh my
You
gosh,
guys
he's
really
taking a
saw
lead.
like you saw the coming out party for him pretty much.
Has he had a game that good since?
He's had a couple close to it, like 28, 29 one time, but that was his best game.
That was the like come to Jesus moment for the Mavericks, I think. That game where
You realized it was over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Nick, you were like, "Oh man, like what's going on?" We lost
Because
to the Wizards.
you guys got destroyed by Wemby. You're like, all right, Wemby, he might be
All
top
right, that's
5
one
player
thing.
this year. Like that's okay. It's really over.
I kind of like. I know we're in the depths of this episode now. I kind of liked Will Riley coming out of Illinois. Has he been okay? Like, has he done anything?
Yeah, like he's got good upside as a player. He's just very skilled as a shot maker. There's a reason why Brad Underwood called him the second best shot maker he ever coached in his career. And like that'll stick on paper when you watch him play out there. He's just very, very thin right now. He's gonna have to fill out his frame. But like right now, this time of year where they have no interest in winning basketball games, like they should be letting him get some run with some of the starters instead of dudes in the G League. I think that's what the Wizards should be doing right now. Give him some more run.
If y'all don't get a top 3 pick and you don't get one of those 3 dudes, who's the guy in the draft you want that will fit this core the best?
Ooh, now that you
That's
have
tough.
AD, like, do you still get Caleb Wilson?
I mean, Kingston
Yes.
Fleming can
Yes.
hoop, too.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, like
You
you still get him
run
behind.
to the podium.
Well, if you're 4, like, so let's say if you're 5 or 6, though, then like Kingston Flemings is intriguing. Keaton Wagler, he's looked really good
Isaac
recently,
loves it.
actually.
He loves.
Yeah, I think I heard you guys had
Cole
about
Pete.
that like yesterday, right?
Yeah, like Wagler.
Would you take Koa Pete over Cooper Flag if Cooper
I was
Flag
gonna
is
ask you
this guy?
guys that. Did Mavs fans get offended when
Yes,
that guy said
because
that?
it's stupid. Like, what are you? Okay, my point on this whole thing was Cooper Flag is playing this well in the NBA. He's averaging 20 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. The amount of players that have done that in the rookie year is not very much. You have to go back to like Michael Jordan, Kareem. Like, there's not very many players that have had that line. To have 6 players you take over Cooper Flag who's playing this well would be the greatest draft in NBA history. Like, maybe you think that this draft is the greatest in NBA history, but even 2003, there was an incredible draft with LeBron, Melo, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Like, even if you take all 4 of those guys over Cooper Flag, there's nobody else you'd take in that draft over them. Like, it would be an insane draft.
He still goes first to me in this draft, and I'll leave it at that. Like, I just think it's foolish that people think he'd go out of the top 5, even the top 3.
Mashburn said that the day after he put up 49 in the game.
Oh
Perfect
wow!
timing.
Yeah,
Nice.
but he lost that game, Isaac.
Bold
did you know that
move,
he
bro.
lost that game?
Dude, if y'all got Caleb Wilson though to go on the wing with like Keyshawn George, and then you obviously still have Sar and AD and stuff, man, that would be
Pretty fun.
that'd be
Could be a lot of like high flying dunks and cool things on a basketball floor. Good highlights.
The
But
Darren
hopefully,
Peterson one, though.
I was gonna say, hopefully you land in the top 3.
Because Trey Young, Darren Peterson, Bilal, Sar, AD, like that. I mean, now we're talking.
Devonta on the wing,
That would do it.
that would be. I like all those guys for you, Boozer.
I'm getting too excited now.
All right, we're gonna let, go ahead.
Out of every fan base.
You gotta say one more thing.
One more thing.
Hey.
Out of every fan base, we deserve it. Last year, when you guys were celebrating during that live stream, when Nick was going crazy saying, "Stop it, stop it." Me and Ben, I was in my apartment back in Blacksburg. I was on my knees saying, "It happened again." Frustration and all, but it all makes up for it if they land a top 3 pick coming up.
I didn't know that Dallas won the lottery, by the way, until an hour after, because I was so upset that the Wizards got 6. I stormed out of the house I was in, and I didn't watch the rest. I found out that Dallas won like an hour later.
You did.
Respect.
Dang,
He unplugged. He said, "I'm gonna detox."
I turned off my
Digital
phone. I said, I'm not looking at it.
dang, you didn't get Khan, you didn't get VJ.
We got Trey.
You got Trey. Hey,
Now
I
we
know
got
where
Trey.
Blacksburg is.
We got Trey squared.
Oh man.
I went to college up in Lynchburg, so I'm familiar with Virginia.
Awesome.
There you go. Go check out Locked On Wizards, Locked On Mavs. Check out the Everydayer Club, LockedOnWizards.supercast.com, LockedOnMavericks.supercast.com. Use the code Moving On for the Mavericks one. You get a free month. Use the code BROW for the Wizards one. You get a free month on that one. Access to ad-free episodes of this show and more. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs Wizards crossover.
Peace out.